This past spring, my husband and I spent a weekend in Harper's Ferry. The first day was devoted to sightseeing. We saw the fort where John Brown had his last stand, and we visited the John Brown Museum and the Wax Museum. The second day was all about the Appalachian Trail. I went to the ATC and had my hiker picture taken, and we hiked through the town, went across the train bridge over to Maryland, hiked along the towpath, and then up the trail to Weaverton Cliffs, where we sat and enjoyed the view and had some lunch. Hey everyone, good evening. So I'm back on the Appalachian Trail. I'm currently at Weaverton Cliffs, and the viewpoint is right back there behind me. We just climbed up the trail from the parking lot. I'm with my friend Stan the Man, and the goal is to work on the section between Harper's Ferry and Pine Grove Furnace State Park. So this is the Ed Garvey shelter. I did a whopping 3 miles to get here, but that's because we didn't start till 6 o'clock. It's been a long day. I went to work this morning. Today was the last day of school. And then from there, I hopped in the car and drove all the way down to Pine Grove. Left the car there. Stan shuttled me here to this end near Harper's Ferry, and walked in. So this is where we're going to stay tonight. And the really cool thing about this shelter is that it has an upstairs, and you access the upstairs from the back of the shelter. This will be our space tonight. Good morning, everyone. I'm just leaving the Ed Garvey shelter. It's about 6:30. It's a very nice shelter, very clean, cool design. My goal for today is to head to the Dahlgren Backpacker Campground. It's about 11 miles from here. So that'll be a nice, easy enough first full day on trail. It is supposed to be blazing hot, in the upper 90s. And I'm gonna have to take it slow and see how I do, how far I get, what the water situation is like along the way. Stan turned around and went back down the 3 miles to the car. He's not going to hike with me during the day, but he is going to provide trail magic along the way. He's got cold drinks, and he's going to do that today and tomorrow before he heads home. And then, the rest of the week I'm on my own. I've gone about 3 miles or so this morning, and I'm gonna stop here for a second and have the rest of my breakfast. I have one of those pro meal bars that I'm trying out. Not bad. This one's the fruit one. This looks like it's the last place I have any kind of easy access to water between here and the campsite tonight. So I'm gonna make sure everything is full, and I'm gonna drink as much as I possibly can now. And that should get me the rest of the way there. This is my biggest climb of the day. It's mostly uphill for the next 4 miles. I think this is one of the steeper sections of it, but it's not too bad. It's less than 1,000 feet of elevation gain, and it's only around 8:30, so it's still cool enough. So I'll just take my time. It looks like raspberries growing right alongside the trail there. I am 98% sure that those are raspberries. Of course, it's the other 2% that keeps me from actually eating them. That and the fact that they're growing right next to batches of poison ivy. I will say that I'm grateful for the green tunnel today, because every time you step out into one of these clearings, the temperature jumps significantly in the full sun. I've arrived at the Dahlgren Backpackers Campground. We've got a group doing trail magic here. There's showers, which I will definitely use later after I've got my tent all set up. Picnic tables and little fire pits and tent platforms and bear hang areas. So this is nice. Good morning. It's about 6 a.m. I'm leaving the Dahlgren Backpackers Campground. I've got approximately 14 miles to do today, and I am getting slack packed. Stan has all my heavy gear, my tent, and my sleep system, and he's gonna meet me at the next shelter I'm planning to stop at, because it's also near a road crossing. That'll be nice. It's going to be another hot day, so it'll be nice to go a little lighter. Thing smells awful. I think there's a dead animal right off the trail somewhere. Ugh, it smells like carcass. Because there's poison ivy all over the place if you go off trail. This is called Black Rock Cliffs. And about a mile back, I passed something called Annapolis Rocks, which has basically the same view as this. I passed up Annapolis Rocks because it's a little further off trail to get to it, and it tends to be very crowded and touristy, whereas this place I have to myself. Lunch today is a squeeze tube of hummus. It's very pleasant up here. There's a nice breeze. The sun has been coming in and out from behind the clouds, so it's been shady for a good part of the time. But I have to keep going. So Stan the Man left some trail magic here for people. Lots of nice ice cold drinks. And he had it in a cooler full of ice. And now all the drinks are gone. But I took my extra buff and I just dumped it in the ice water. And oh, does that feel good. So I hiked right on past the shelter where I was planning to stay tonight. And I decided there's another road crossing in 3 more miles, and Stan will meet me there. Good morning, everybody. So I just got dropped off by Stan at Ravens Rock Road. I ended up staying at the Ensign Cowell shelter last night, which was where I had originally planned to stay. But when I got there, it was still early in the day, and I felt like I had more left in me. Probably because Stan slack packed me yesterday, and so maybe I was going a little faster or I wasn't quite so exhausted. But I decided to do an extra 3 miles here to Raven Rock Road, where he picked me up, and then we went back to the other shelter because that one was right near the road. And he dropped me back here this morning, and he's actually going to slack pack me just for a couple miles this morning, and I'm going to meet him at the next place where he can drive in, and then he's heading home. And I'm making the climb up from Ravens Rock Road. The first 3/4 of a mile is a climb, and a lot of sections of it are really steep. There's also a lot of cool rocky outcroppings that the trail goes around. So it's nice. It's just waking me up first thing in the morning. I'm walking over to the High Rock Overlook, and that's where Stan the Man is able to drive the car up. And so he's going to meet me there with the rest of the gear. Wow. The view out there is nice. Too bad the rest of the place is destroyed. So I'm waiting at the overlook for Stan to show up with my stuff. I got here faster than we thought, so I'll just wait for him to get here. And then I'm almost done with Maryland. I've just got 4 more miles before I cross into Pennsylvania. Hey, thanks, Stan, for all your help. You've been amazing.
It's been fun.
Yep. Kept me hydrated, cool drinks, slack pack.
Yep.
So
it was fun.
All right, now I'm on my own.
And even got a hike with you some.
Yep.
So Very good.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
So this section here is very rocky coming down the hill. The path kind of comes in and out. So really you have to depend on finding the blazes to pick your way through this section because you're kind of picking your way around the rocks. I made it to the bottom of that really rocky section. When you get to the bottom, it's still full of rocks down here, but at least it's level, so you're not descending them. That's better. Let's hope that's the end of the rocks for a little while. Penmar Park. Snacks on a park bench. Okay, people, I've knocked out another state. Maryland is done. On to the part of Pennsylvania that I'm still missing. I have to say that Maryland was really well maintained. Trail maintenance was spot on. The trail was nice and wide. I never felt like it was closing in around me. The climbs weren't too long because nothing was too tall. Most of them weren't that steep. A couple steep ones here and there, but most of them were not. And not that rocky in most places. Definitely, if you're going northbound, coming down the hill into the Ensign Cowl shelter, and a little bit before that, there's a definite rocky area. And coming down the hill right before Penmar Park, there's also that really rocky area. Other than that, the trail was very nice. It was very pleasant coming through Maryland. Lunch spot. Well, that's today, and it's more than 15 miles away, and I've already done almost 10 miles, so I'm not making that. That feels so good. The water is nice and cold. Good morning, everybody. I'm just leaving Tumbling Run shelters. Very cute, well-maintained shelters. It's about 5:30, and it's actually nice and cool this morning. The first really cool morning we've had. I've even got my sun hoodie on, although that was probably a mistake because I'm climbing up a steep hill. Another first thing in the morning hill. According to Trail Intel, there is no water for the next 10 miles. But I'm fully loaded up, got almost 2 liters, and it's still cool enough that should be plenty. So the first 1.5 miles of the morning was uphill. It took me about 45 minutes to get up here, but I knew this viewpoint was up at the top, and I figured that would be a great place to have my breakfast. This is a really nice section of trail. Now, this area is called Rocky Mountain, and there's a whole lot of big, beautiful, like rock outcroppings, but there's also a bunch of rocks in the trail too. So I've had to slow down and watch my footing. Holy cow. The climb out of Caledonia State Park. No joke. Ooh. This is Quarry Gap Shelter. I planned this section around staying here at Quarry Gap Shelter. I wanted to stay in this shelter. They've got tent pads over there. The shelter is adorable. The problem is my mileage changed. So it is now only 1:30. And I'm gonna be moving on. It's too bad. I really like it here. This is the water source for Quarry Gap, which has water in it, even though it's been so dry. But if you look carefully, there's a big old bullfrog down there. All right, I am about 3 miles from a tenting site, but there's no water, so I'm gonna have to bring it in from the stream that's before it. And I'm about 5 miles from the next shelter, which does have water. But I'm not sure I have 5 miles left in me. Beginning to get worn out. So we'll see. I'll make a decision when I get to the spring. I made it to the campsite, set up the tent. I'm about to make dinner, and then I'll get cleaned up and changed and try and get some rest. Good morning. It's about 5:30. I left camp about 15 minutes ago. I wanted to get started while it was still cool, because it's supposed to be hot again today, and B, it's supposed to rain later, thunderstorms. So I'd like to finish my 12 miles before that happens. So it's just starting to get light now. The trail at the moment is nice and smooth. Let's see how long that lasts. I just startled something big right there behind me. Didn't see what it was, but it sounded like a deer. It, kind of went leaping off further into the bushes. So I'm going with deer. Right over there, the sky is starting to change color. And I think we're going to have sunrise kind of in that spot. This is the Birch Run shelter. This is where I was trying to get to last night, but just couldn't. That would have been too many miles for me. So I'm going to sit here and have some breakfast. Found some nice blueberries. Mid-morning snack. This is the halfway marker for 2024. If you are hiking this year, you're officially halfway based on this year's mileage. This is the ceremonial halfway marker. For obvious reasons, they don't move it back and forth each time the mileage changes a little bit. I'm heading into Pine Grove Furnace State Park. So this represents the end of this section for me. It also represents the completion of Pennsylvania. I have done everything from Pine Grove North already, and so now I have all of Pennsylvania done. And of course, Pine Grove Furnace State Park is the home of the half-gallon ice cream challenge. All right, I don't eat dairy, so I won't be participating in the half-gallon ice cream challenge because they don't have any non-dairy flavors. But I feel the need to be a part of tradition, so I'm going to do a half-pint challenge. I'm only going to have a few spoonfuls. That way, at least I'm part of the tradition.